Hey yo, I'm a little. You see the strike is over with the port. Have you? Was you even keeping track of that at all, though?
Right. I've read a story about it, about the port, the strike, the automation, and all the things they want to put inside these different languages inside their contract. And I'm not for any collective. Period. Like that's my thing now. Like I don't
What
do
do you mean?
collective. Like
So you
any collective.
explain.
Like I'm an individual, so
Okay.
I'm I'm not gonna like be a part of. I haven't worked when I did work. I wasn't in a union, but because I'm an owner now, you got to look at it. I look at things from that perspective, and yeah, I'm not for any type of coercion or anything. I'm not for that. Like people sign contracts. Good thing that they came to an agreement. I believe the agreement was like right in between. They wanted $5. The guy came back at $3, and now they're at $4, something like that. So I'm happy for them, good for them. But they got to realize, to me, I believe that this is just a can that's push a little bit further down the road, especially when it comes to the automation. Because at some point, as a business owner, you think I'm going to sign something that says I can't make my business more efficient by adapting to the new times and AI? That's absurd.
I, it's weird because at one point I definitely agree. I mean, if you can automate your processing and keep it as efficient, or if not more efficient, I don't see a downside. You would think probably, you know, in the owner's mind, they're like, all right, let's just give it to him, and then we'll start making plans on. We'll put together a 5, 6 year, 7 year plan to just automate all this shit and be done with it. But my question is, part of people argument is, and again, maybe it's over my head. Their argument is like, look, if you remove all those jobs with AI, fine. But when you have people working there, those people pay taxes. Those people spend money into the economy. You remove these jobs and you also remove those contributions to the economy because those people are no longer working. But as I'm saying it to you, they're going to work somewhere, right? Like
Right,
you're going to
because
have to
because you
work.
because you know I'm going to stretch it, right? I'm gonna pull it apart. Like,
you're,
all right, so let's
you're going
see.
to have
Like,
to work, whether
yeah.
at the port or somewhere. You're going to have to find a job eventually. Like you're all not going to stay unemployed. So I guess that's actually a mute point, right?
Well, no, it's a good point. It's just something to discuss as far as in the discussion point of view. I was thinking along the lines, what if the strike did go on? Like, I think they actually just postpone a part of these negotiations until like September of next year or something to that
I
effect.
don't know
So,
if it's 90 days, 80 days. I'm not sure the exact terms, but I do know it's temporary.
right. So they pushed the can down the road. But at some point, like I was telling somebody the other day, like I believe that I lost my job because of the times. Like things have changed. Like I don't need 3, 4 guys down here to deal with the contractors anymore. I have a lot of
Correct.
things that are being automated. I have the cashiers do some of the things now that I used to have specialists do. A lot of things change. So when you are working anywhere and you can feel like, what happens if I'm not here? If you can feel that, like, and if that's an issue for you, then maybe you have a spirit of an entrepreneur. You need to just work on things and figure out a way to make money without having a W-2. But if that doesn't bother you, then you could just go from one job to the next. There are plenty of jobs out here, so you just go from one job to the next. That's just all about how you feel. What kind of person you are.
Hmm.
But AI is coming, man.
Like, I don't know. Because on one side, I look at it's just a natural progression of things. I mean, at one time we had what switchboard operators handling phone calls. Then we found a more efficient way to do that. And then again, you no longer needed switchboard operators. You dig what I'm saying?
Great point. Great point.
Um, One day you had teachers in school who taught typing classes because that was a thing. Then before you know it, that's no longer a thing. Where those teachers are, like they had to figure something else out.
You know what? That just like a knee jerk reaction when you mentioned the teachers thing. I just thought about something. What if you have parents that use AI to teach their kids and this say the AI is hypothetically, the AI is better, it's more efficient, and this AI will help my kid get into college and pass SAT tests. I don't know if the SAT test is still the same, but when I was taking it was extremely difficult. Now you can pass these SAT tests because I have a level of learning that the AI is keeping up with pretty much the Joneses, let's say,
Okay.
the educational Joneses, whatever that is, or how whatever the highest education is as far as for children. Instead of going to school, you're using AI to teach your kids, and you're going along with the program. I can see something like that happen in the future. And now teachers are going to strike because there are not many students in school, and the schools don't want to pay as much because there aren't that many students in school. Things of that nature. Because all this because of the pandemic, man. The pandemic opened up people's eyes to different ways of learning. You
I
can't say
mean,
it's not efficient because then why did they do it during the pandemic?
uh, I don't know if that's efficient for everyone, but I can see in some cases it can be efficient.
Think about
Um,
some school districts. You mean to tell me that I can't get a third grade curriculum better than see, I don't see I can't really call it because my situation is quite unique. But if I were to take a third grader of normal cognitive abilities in, let's say, an urban community, I don't know what the teaching is like. So let's take that curriculum and I compare it to a curriculum that I make up and for AI. My AI curriculum could be better and more effective than the one that's in at school. So if you don't work with the AI as anybody, that's going to be an issue.
I guess that's the biggest point. But I guess in the grand scheme, it's funky because a lot of people support unions, and I don't know if it should be more unions or less unions. But I'll think about it like this: think about when you walk into like a Walmart or any convenience store nowadays, and all the cashiers are going, so it's self checkout.
Ugh,
So can you imagine if like everybody went on strike when they seen AI coming? Like all of a sudden, you can't go and shop right, you can't go in like your Home Depot because all the employees are on strike
now
because they're planning to replace cashiers with self checkout AI machines and shit.
they have a long like if I go into a
Exactly.
Home Depot now, I can see maybe there are three cashiers. Like three cashiers, the rest are AI basically like robots, and you go into self checkout. So it makes sense. And what happens is, you know, I don't want to look at myself or consider myself a front runner. So I still want to kind of like empathetically look at it from other people's point of view too, right? So I'm thinking like you have to find, I guess, the chasm between what the robot can do and what the robot can't do. And what the robot can't do, that's what a human intervention needs to come in to play. Again, because you create more things that what the robot can't do. What those things
I,
are, I don't know right now. This is knee jerk reaction, spitballing. But I think that's where the answer lies.
I mean, I'm more of I think you just have to blend the both. I think you still need a human element in everything, even if the robot's more efficient. I think you still need a human element involved overseeing somewhere. It's so many nuances that you just can't compute for. Um, so maybe that's the better answer. Like I'm not all for replacing every person in the factory with all machines. Like you still need to have some humans in there working. I mean, not just the humans working on the machines. So, but I don't, I think that's unavoidable though. I think in any market, um, adding AI is inevitable. Even for the cat strike, and I mean, realistically, in the back of their head, I hope they're just fighting for the increase because they know the AI is coming and they're just trying to get more money so they can stash more money. I hope that's the plan because, like, AI is coming like regardless. It's just a matter of how fast it's gonna come over and interfere with your job market.
Right. And they're gonna probably come up with a lot of different ways of saying, look, the AI is safer. We're able to create this machine that can do this. This is a lot safer than having X amount of employees do it. We had these incidents happen over the past few years. This would eliminate all of those incidents from happening in insurance claims and different things of that nature. I'm pretty sure that they probably have a long track record and reasons for introducing automation into the industry. So that will happen. I think they're just kicking the can down the road, like we said before.
I I just don't like the fact that something like that can happen and then just affects so many people. Like you dig what I'm saying? Like, all right, y'all cast decide not to go to work because you're mad at your boss. But doing that, there's no tissue in the stores. You feel what I'm saying?
Well,
There's
no,
no water.
no, no,
Like,
that's not true with the tissue. Maybe no bananas or cocoa and things of that nature, but
Well, no,
we make
this no, no,
tissues
no.
here.
What I mean is because people go buy these things because that's just they just panic buy.
Right.
So when if you go to
Hey guys, if you like the content, please consider hitting the like and the subscribe button to help grow the channel. We would really appreciate it.
and there was no water and no tissue because everybody was coming in buying by the case. It's just panic buy. Like
Right.
we went in COVID, people don't know no better. They just you know
Right. But we're
it's
still
just
gonna
weird.
have tissue and water. Like
Oh
that was
no,
just
we're gonna have it.
craziness. No, that was
Yes,
craziness.
that's what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
They should have been going to
Those-
grab the bananas and cocoa and stuff of that nature. And auto parts and things of that nature, things that really come from overseas, or the bootlegs that people buy. You know what I mean? You hurry up and stack
Facts.
up on that because those are not coming in. Your fake
Your
Gucci and
knockoff-
things in that.
your
Matter of
knockoff
fact,
retro
designer
75s.
itself, luxury items. They don't, they're not made here. Oh, the fake ones, probably. The fake. If you can still get, matter of fact, if you can still get your head on designer, and the ports was messed up since Monday, right? So how'd you get your designer in? That's weird. They already had it.
Yeah. I don't
I'm just
think
teasing.
the inventory went out that quick.
Right.
But it's just weird. They're gonna have to figure something out. I don't think that process is the best process. when one strike, we all go. It's not just like one factory. We all shut down.
Right.
Ain't nobody getting anything, and just holding people hostage like that is just a weird process.
But
I think it's in today's time. I think they just like when COVID made people realize like I don't need this many people working here for my business to function. I think this was one of those things that in today's time that just made people realize like, hey, eventually we're gonna have to have a better system.
but that's what I'm saying. As a
We're
business
a little
owner,
too vulnerable. Yeah, we're a little too vulnerable.
right? As an owner, you don't want to be over leveraged or under leveraged. You want to be right. Your job is to make money. You got into business to make money, not to lose money, not to have associates just walking around the building doing nothing.
And then imagine how you feel when your employees intimidate you and make you give them more.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not for any of the collectivism. I'm not for it. Like, and I haven't worked for a union at all. And I think that sucks.
And again, I get it from both sides. Like you want more money. You want more money as an employee. I definitely get it. But usually people tell you just to go find another job until you get, and you just hold your boss hostage until you get more money. It's
Right.
a little weird concept. And again, if you're on a winning side, if you're in a union, you're on a winning side, like I dig it. You're all for it. But if you're not and you're on the outside looking in, you're like, I don't know if this is the best system. Right
It's almost,
here.
and that's why when I started doing my studies when it comes to politics and economics, that's why I don't like the idea of a democracy because, and that's kind of like what that is, that collectivism stuff, right? It's like a bunch of us is going to go against you, the person that created the opportunity for me, because now a bunch of us is upset because of something. Not saying that this is the situation that happened, but now we're upset before it. So now we're just not going to work anymore. All of us for a union, we're going to go get it. We're going to go get a union. The union part is what I just don't get. You can negotiate your terms. I get that. No problem with negotiating your terms, but like you're saying, holding people, not hostage, but like coercion and stuff like that. I'm not for that because I'm a business owner. How would that be if somebody in the business that I'm in just decide to say, you know what, I'm not paying this. You know what, let's all not pay this. Yeah, I just don't like the sound of it.
How do you feel? And again, I could be like under explaining it, but part of what I hear is like, look, the company we work for made billions of dollars. Since they made so much, they should give us more.
Right.
That concept's a little weird though. Because it's again, if I create the business, I anticipate me trying to make a lot of money. And I hired you with the salary to do that. And just because you did your job and I made a lot of money, it would be nice if I gave you more, but I don't owe you more.
Right. And that's
or
where
should the business give more?
That's where you
so
should
much money off the back of their employees.
That's where you should, that's where you ask for raise and different things of that nature. And if you don't get the raise, you can walk away. And if enough people walk away from not getting a raise, then the company naturally would say, oh, snap, you know what? We got to pay a little more for these services that we're being provided for from our employees. Think about this. The ports took on a union for a reason. Years ago, they decided take on union. Like, okay, we'll have the union work for us, no problem. We won't this open this up to like this regular individuals working. We'll have them work for a union. We'll just hire the union basically. So this is in their best interest also. This is in their best interest also, you know? When somebody's working and they work for a union, it's a little bit more reliable than individual who could just like decide to leave and they're not as reliable. So the ports decided to have a union like this anyway. To hire the
Uh,
union, you know what I'm saying? The government didn't say you got to hire it. They decided to hire
no.
a union, say, okay, this is how we can do it. These are the employees that we'll take. We'll do it like this. So it's in their best interest to do it this way too.
Well, it have to be mutually beneficial at some way, shape, or form. But I think the way I mean, the way it just looked on television and as we were watching it in real time the past couple of days, it definitely looked as if the business owner was uh, didn't have the power per se in that situation. I guess they could have did other things, but in order to keep business running smoothly, they kind of just had to concede, I guess.
That's that concede temporarily, right? Like as I said, this is a temporary thing. But when you do things like that, can't you see how naturally you don't I don't want to use the word retaliation in like a fierce way, but
Yeah,
naturally you're going to find a way to curve the problems next time.
correct.
You're going to come with more concrete things and things are going to be a lot different. I actually looked it up. You can still, even if you work for a union, you can still get laid off. There are a lot of different things. Like I looked it up. This can still happen. So, like I said, kicking a can down the road and doing things of that nature, that's fine. But when it comes to the bottom line, which is the dollars, I think that the owners are going to make the money make sense at some point.
Well, yeah, but the, again, I don't know enough about it. But I hear people argument that who are for um again who are either in that union in the union or have family members in the union, and they're saying like, look, hey, the employers make so much money, they can give us more money and still make astronomical profits. That's how they're looking at it.
Right. I understand that, but when you don't own anything, it makes sense. But when you put it in perspective, like and try to rationalize the whole thing, that means that the people who created the jobs for you and in the industry can be bullied if you somebody's in a union by a union. So what's the point of
Potentially.
creating the industry or even hiring a union?
I mean, that's why so many places I think fight against unions for that simple fact.
Right. You got it. Like to look at it, it's all about your utility. Like however you are, wherever you are in the economy, as far as your money, all those different things, your future, your trajectory, all these things make you decide like what kind of person you are, whether you're Democrat, Republican, independent, all these different things. But me looking at it from an entrepreneur standpoint, it's like I see it from a different point of view now, coming from the W-2 point of view. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And it's like I wouldn't want to like to think that I'm in a position of power because I'm using coercion or making these owners do certain things. It doesn't feel that doesn't feel like necessarily um, it has longevity to it because at some point the owner would get smarter and figure something out to kind of like phase me out anyway.
Yeah,
That's what I
eventually.
will always be worried about.
Yeah, I would be watching my back forever after that point.
You know? And it's not
I definitely.
and it's not like it's because of it's being the owners being like um an asshole or anything like that. The owners looking at it from a bottom line standpoint, the money. They're looking at it from the money standpoint. So it's not that I'm trying to, it's not personally, I got an attack against Xavier because he did this. Like, it's not that. It's like, damn, I still need to get rid of Xavier because this is still costing me money.
Man, it's
Just
a
can't
power
do it now.
dynamic. I own this. How are you gonna tell me? How are you gonna force me to do something I don't want to do?
Right. But that's taking it too personal. I get that point. But the biggest issue is the money. It's not the fact that Xavier decided to go against me and now I got to keep him because of these different situations. It's more the fact that just keeping Xavier is still costing me money and I don't need Xavier anymore. I can use this to do it. So I have to find another way to kind of like move along from Xavier, whether it's now or somewhere else down the road.
Mm, yeah. You saying that's taking it too personal, but
You
I think
said
when you
it.
talk about these owners and CEOs of these companies, I think they're human just like everyone else. And I think they can take a lot of these things super personal when they're sitting having a conversation with their CEO friends and buddies. You see this shit they doing over there at the port? I got something for them. All right.
Now, you know what? I'm glad that they got their money, or
Absolutely.
that they came to an agreement, let me say, a tentative
100%.
agreement. That's what they call it. I'm glad they came to an agreement. But I was just wish they could have went about it in a different way. I don't know what the other way would be. It probably would be like mass people just decide to quit because of the contract. They don't agree with the contract, or they find another way to do negotiations. But you know, that was basically coercion.